You're going to love the guest that we have today. We've got Bill Wiatrak, who has done extensive traveling throughout the world. Bill, thank you so much for being on the Mindful Mutiny podcast.
I'm glad to be here. Wait, we don't have to do a pirate accent on this?
The entire 2 hours, I need the pirate.
Oh, okay. I thought the mutiny thing. Okay. So, yeah, my regular voice. Yes, glad to be here, Jeremy. Thanks.
Bill Wiatrak, the traveling wizard, is a globetrotter. The American actor, he's an American actor with a mission to visit every single country in the world. He was born in Houston, Texas. Bill shares his adventure through travel videos and articles and publications like Houstontonia. Did I say that right? Houstontonia magazine.
Houstonia. Yeah,
Houstonia magazine. And Matador Network. And his blog, The Traveling Wizard. A seasoned traveler, he's explored 217 countries and as also seen the 7 wonders of the world. Is that correct as well?
Yeah, that's correct.
You're also an
actually 218 countries now, but who's counting?
Who's counting?
Okay, besides me.
Well, you've also been in films like Hidden in the Woods, Pizza Joint movie, and a couple of others, if I'm not correct.
Yeah, some small films. Yeah, you can catch me on Netflix if you don't watch my blog.
Oh, wait, what are you on Netflix?
Pizza Joint movies on Netflix.
Okay.
I think Hidden in the Woods might be too. And it's just some small parts. I'm not doing any heavy lifting, but I ended up in a couple movies.
Well,
still don't have an action figure. There's no action figures of me yet, but one day,
you can make that sort of thing yourself.
I know, it's just you just sort of want to have them at the toy store, people buying them, and that's kind of really a lot better than just making it yourself. I actually do have an action figure of myself that I had made in time.
I think you definitely need one, and a bobblehead. So tell me about your life. Like, what are you doing right now? What is your life like?
It's been kind of weird. I have a few Airbnbs that I'm working on, and I'm leaving for Africa in about 20 hours. So I'm getting ready for that. I'm still waiting for a visa that hasn't come through for the country of Gabon. And I'm working on a living statue that's going out while I'm traveling that I've got to do a few things to. So I kind of have these 3 jobs going at one time, blogger, entertainer, and Airbnb creator. So
what are you planning on doing in Africa?
Surviving. First of all, I'm almost finished with the entire outline of Africa. I've got, after this, I've only got 18 countries left, UN countries, United Nations countries. So I'm going to Cameroon, Gabon, and Equatorial Guinea. Equatorial Guinea is kind of a tough one because it's a military state, and the visa is very hard to get, but I got one. And now I'm waiting on Gabon. But basically I try the food, I write about it, I go and try the public transportation, I go look at animals. I mean, Africa is famous for animals, so there's lots of sanctuaries there. The indigenous people that live there, checking out some of the neighborhoods and houses and little villages and stuff in the safe places. So there's a few dangerous places in Cameroon right now, but that's what I'm doing. Just running around and checking it out.
And you've done this for many years. You go there, and it sounds like you're really just wanting to get to know culture and people, and kind of come back with some enriching stories and that sort of thing.
It's to me, the world's a puzzle, and I got to solve it. It's like I'm so curious about what people do here and there, and then when you go there and you see it, and then you realize, oh, that's how this connects. I always said the world's like a giant jigsaw puzzle. You get it as thousands of pieces, and you start, once you get the outside of it, you're like, oh, okay, I kind of see the dog's face now, and then you start filling it in, and as you fill it in, you just you learn so much. I just have really, the best education I ever have is from traveling. And sometimes I have conversations with people, and I just am surprised at how much random information that I know about just weird stuff from traveling.
Well, traveling around the world as you have, there have to be some pretty terrifying experiences that you've had.
The funny thing is, a lot of people ask me, the first thing they ask me is it safe, And I
Yeah.
think that American version or our thoughts about travel is very fear-based. And that's really kind of my last thought. I live in Houston, and your chance of getting shot at a gas station is pretty high here. If you're running around at 3 o'clock in the morning and need gas, don't do it. It's this is a dangerous place, and I'm not any more worried about going to Cameroon than I am being in Houston, except the fear of the unknown. And I think that's really what travel fear is about: is the unknown. Your chances of wandering into a war or a drug deal gone bad or something like that, it's not very likely to happen. Usually in a lot of other countries, people look out for you. There's special tourist police. Maybe not so much in Africa, but if you just know what you're doing, I'm not afraid at all.
When did you start this traveling?
Well, I guess it started when I was a kid. My family would do a few of these road trips, and my dad was from New York, and we would drive all the way to New York to visit my grandmother, and then we'd do like a spring break kind of vacation to Florida, and we'd camp out, and that was the first time I really traveled, but I hadn't really gone outside the country, and I learned how to scuba dive when I was about 17, and became very interested in going to Cozumel, and I did this trip with a friend of mine, and then I was like we started doing a trip every year, and then I decided to go to Australia, and something I thought was impossible for me to do, but somehow I got there and met a guy at a youth hostel in the middle of the jungle, and he gave me this little lecture about how Americans were doing it all wrong and that we needed to travel differently. And this whole kind of 1 week culture, we go. Have you ever noticed, like, when you ever book a trip, it's always 7 days, right? I mean, there's no 8-day trips unless you do a cruise and you can get the 10-day or the 15-day. But usually everything's a week. It's our culture, right? 7 days, nicest place you can afford, stay there, get pampered. That's the American way.
Right.
So this guy kind of gave me this other idea. He said you can do this and this. You could work. You could sleep in a church. You could do that. And I was like, what? I can't. My American ears can't hear this. And so I changed my ticket. I was in Australia for 2 weeks, and I changed my ticket to 6 months. And I hitchhiked around the country. I picked grapes. I played the guitar on the street. I worked at the Sydney Opera House. I stayed with people I didn't know that I met along the way. I hitchhiked and met people and did sheep shearing and eel fishing, and I just had these adventures. And but then I was hooked. I was just like I could never go back to normal life after that.
So you grew up in a fairly conventional environment. Your family were kind of quintessentially suburban Americans. Is that the thing? And then
Well,
all
I
of a
lived next
sudden,
to a cow pasture on two sides, but it was just down the road from the housing additions, is what my mom called them. And so yeah, I went to a normal, Houston high school and everything, but there wasn't a lot of people who lived right next door to me that weren't cows.
they they make really good neighbors, actually. And so you're traveling around the world starting at what age? Like you're in your 20s at this point in Australia? All right.
Yeah, I must have been 23, somewhere around there. I already done a few trips. I'd done these scuba diving trips, but I had never done a trip where I just didn't really even have a plan. Everything was already booked. Like I said, American trip, you go and you book your stuff ahead of time. Some people a year in advance. Oh, I'm going to go to this resort in Cancun, and then you're there, and you know what dinner you're going to eat, what night, and it's all planned out. With Australia, it wasn't. It was like, okay, I think I'm going to go there. Where can I sleep? What am I going to eat? So it was like that. So once you do that, it opens up this whole completely different thing that most Americans just can't even imagine.
Which is
And
improvise. I'm sorry.
no, that was it. I like to finish my sentences with
Yeah, it makes it hard for timing.
stopping with, yeah, okay.
So so it's improvising. It's being open to the kind of winds of opportunity is what it is.
Yeah, it seems very improvisational, but if you've ever seen Whose Line Is It Anyway, these comedians, they've already got stuff in their head, right? That they're going to use as tools. And it's the same way with me. I mean, I've got like a set of tools. When I go someplace and I land there, It's not like, okay, what do I do? I mean, okay, I'm looking for famous graves or famous world events, or what's the food here that's unique that nobody, we don't have. Who's the famous people that came from this city? Stuff like that. I got a list of sort of like a bunch of different categories of things that I would look for in a particular place. What's the most famous piece of art in this Italian village that I'm in, or whatever. So I just start kind of doing my thing, and it kind of just does itself. Really, it's not that difficult.
And you go out usually for how long?
It depends. This trip is about 3 weeks. I usually don't go longer than a month. Like last year, this time I was in the South Pacific, and it was right at a month because it takes so long to do these islands, and you have to wait for to do it where it's not horribly expensive. You kind of have to work with the flights. So you want to pick up that Fiji airline a week later when it comes through again, rather than go to New Zealand and New Caledonia, Samoa, end up 1,000 places with a $5,000 airline ticket. So to answer your question simply, a month is the longest. A week's not quite enough. I just did a trip in Mexico. I did this Yucatan Peninsula. They're building a train track. I don't know if you saw that. It's going around through all the areas that people don't really see. The tourists don't normally make it to, but they're well known in Mexico by people who live in the area. And I did it by car before the train opened up. Basically, the route that I picked was exactly like the train route. So I was kind of like, let me check out this train route before you guys open up.
So, like you just said, do you get like an idea about something that you want to investigate in a region? This region has a new train. This region has some new initiative going on. They've decorated this city with a bunch of artwork, and I want to go kind of document it and experience it. Is that kind of the
Much simpler than that. I have lists. I have a bucket list. I have a bucket list of archaeological ruins. I have a bucket list of things that I want to do in my life. See a tiger in the wild. Still haven't. I've been 1,000 places to see a tiger in the wild. I still haven't done it. Go to Palenque in Mexico. That was the thing that was on the list. So everything else was icing on the cake. I'm going to Palenque. How am I going to get there? What is interesting on the way? What kind of weird foods can I eat? What can I try that I never tried? What fruit do they have that we don't have? I mean, it just kind of puts itself together. You get online, you look for the best things, you figure out a car route. I mean, what's the best way to get around? Are you taking a car? You're taking a plane? If I go to Europe, I've been to every country in Europe, but there's like little places sometimes that I haven't been. So I'll take a plane. Ryan Airlines is a cheap airline to go here and here and here and here. So I just make my list, and that's what I do. I have lists, and I have you know sometimes I add new things. I just was in Germany. I took my mom to Ireland and Germany for a Christmas present, and I discovered the place where the Hindenburg came from. It's a museum, and they're still doing Zeppelin rides. The only reason that we don't do Zeppelin rides is because of World War II and because of the Hindenburg, which only really killed like I think 18 people, which isn't that many people when you think about how big of a deal that it's become in our minds. But that's the travel that was being used before. Sorry, I get off on tangents, but that was the travel that was being used before the planes, right? So these Zeppelins still exist, and you can still do a ride, and you can still go around in this, really cool sort of steampunk mode of transportation. I love it. So that's on my bucket list now. That's a new thing. An old one that I just finished this year was to go and visit Santa Claus at the Arctic Circle. So that was one. I wanted to stomp grapes and barefoot. And I've been looking, I never could end up in a place where I could do that. And I found a place in Texas that I did it. And I drove 3 hours and knocked it off the list. Finally, it was the easiest one I've ever done.
Can you talk about Santa Claus at the Arctic Circle? Can you talk about that trip and what that's like?
I signed a NDA with him. No, I'm
Oh,
just kidding.
he doesn't want you talking about that stuff. I can
Yeah, he
understand.
doesn't want anybody
He's
to
got a
know
lot
where he
of special
really
ops in him.
lives. Oh no, it was quite interesting. So the Arctic Circle there's a town called Rovaniemi. It's in Finland, and it's the official headquarters of Santa Claus. And there's a whole Santa Claus village. You can ride on the sleigh pulled by reindeer. You can eat Norwegian salmon that's cooked on this fire. You meet Santa Claus. I went and had a little interview with him, and we chatted for a while, and he told me all about his house and where he lives and about Mrs. Claus. And it was much more interesting than going to the mall here. I'll put it that way. Beautiful long beard, great. I don't want to say costume; it's his clothes, and it was fantastic.
I don't know.
And I bet
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
that was it. I just like to once again start off sentences and just kind of stop at the beginning of them. And in conclusion,
No, I'm just sitting here with this envy of you and all of the places that all the wonderful people that you've met and the experiences that you've had in your life. And so early in your life, as you're starting to go this route of like globetrotter sort of thing, was this something that was hard for your family to understand or your friends from school or anything like that, or did it just happen?
people still don't understand. Now that I'm getting to older, all these people who like you should have kids, you should get a job, and you should get your Roth account and all that. All those people that were giving me advice and telling me how dumb I was are calling me up now. And they're like, "So how do I do this thing where I do RV around the United States? How do I like work from home but not be at home? You know?" And so I finally, I think I've sort of grown into my lifestyle, or everybody else has grown into my lifestyle now. That the older people who are just tired of the rat race, you know.
Oh, I do know. And I think that a lot has changed since the pandemic occurred, and it has been absolutely proven what many of us knew is that you don't have to go to a building to go to work. Most people, that you can work from virtually anywhere, and that travel is possible, and living where you want to live is possible. As these companies begin to attempt to claw people back into gray buildings with partitions, people are going, I really, really don't want that. And so I know more people who are going into the RV lifestyle and traveling and working from that. And I think it's so good for the soul to be moving around and meeting new people and new environments, new weather, new visiting for old friends and all that sort of thing.
Absolutely. There's a guy that used to be here in Houston, and he did haunted houses, and he had some great ones, and he had some sort of medical issue where he couldn't handle the heat in Houston anymore. So he just kind of went mobile and went somewhere up north. And I think he's traveling around, for health reasons. But he worked so hard. Yeah, he worked so hard doing what he was doing before. And then in a way, I can't speak for him, but when I talked to him, he seemed like he's, very free. And it was kind of like, what are you going to do today? Well, I don't know. I guess I'll go fishing, or maybe I'll go to a museum, and it wasn't like work, 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 work. There's a script in our heads, that we have here in America, and it's work, work, work.
It was just last week I was in an RV park in Reno, and there are some people there who are full timers. And as you're
Yeah.
walking your dog, you end up, meeting people and chatting with them. And this one gentleman, he pointed to his fifth wheel and he says, I've lived in that thing for 15 years now. I don't have to work. I don't have to do this. I don't have to do that. I get to come and go as I please. His level of happiness was off the charts. He was just so, like you said, so free. And this is something that you have built into your lifestyle ever since you were very young, even though other people didn't understand. And so after you experience this thing in Australia, where do you decide that you're going to kind of go from there? And at what point do you start making this the long-term plan for you?
It's a good question, because I think that everything that people do when they're committed to it comes from some sort of thing that happened, or some sort of yeah. So once I started doing these visiting, I'd been to Australia, right? So then I started doing continents. I was like, okay, well, I've been to North America and I've been to Australia. What's next? So Europe, right? So I started doing continents, and then of course the hard one is Antarctica. But once I had done Antarctica, I was on a cruise. I did it on a cruise, and it was like a almost a month-long cruise that sailed around and went through from Chile all the way to Brazil, Falkland Islands. On that cruise, there was an 80-year-old something lady that was there who claimed that she had visited every country in the world. And it was kind of like, all right. Are you next to my cabin because you knew that I needed a new project? So I guess that's what I'm going to do. Is every country in the world, and as I've journeyed, and I'm 62 now. I mean, I started probably 40 years, close to 40 years ago, and my first goal wasn't to travel every country in the world, but in some ways it's gotten easier, in some ways it's gotten harder. But that's it now. So my mind is on the prize. I've got a 3-year limit, not a limit, but I guess a goal, 3-year goal before I hit 65 to finish every United Nations country in the world. And so I'm trying to do at least 7 this year, new ones. I was in 30 countries last year, but only 4 of them were new. So it's hard to get to some of the ones that I'm going to now. It's really easy to get to France. I'm going to France, tomorrow. It's on the way. My 3rd time to France this year. That's easy, right? But it's these little ones, getting to Greenland, getting to Falkland Islands, getting to New Caledonia. Those are, expensive, or visas are hard or something.
Yeah, yeah. And what is the best way to kind of get around, particularly Africa?
It depends on the country. So you have to look at each one completely different. Now, the first time I went to Africa was a crazy trip. I had done Europe, and then I got married. So I had Australia, I had Europe, and I had North America. You're with me so far. So what's next? Could be South America, could be Africa. What's it going to be? Asia. So I decided to do Africa. Why? Because of the song Africa by Toto.
Exactly.
I was listening to it in my car radio, and I thought, okay, I'm going to Africa. Where? I don't know. So I got married, and I'm not married anymore. That was for 10 years, and to the lovely Helen. And Helen and I did our honeymoon in Africa. We took 6 months to hitchhike from England through Africa. And we didn't really have a plan, and there was no internet. We had a book. We got robbed, and our book got stolen. It was quite the journey, trying to make our way through Africa by hitchhiking, staying in tents, and making our own food as we traveled. So it was it was an adventure. So now that was hitchhiking, right? To answer the question, that was hitchhiking. I rarely do that now. I have done it in places where no other options available. But if I was in Europe, for example, I might fly around. Like I was saying, I had a list a while back. I wanted to go see Freddie Mercury's statue in Switzerland. I wanted to go to Salvador Dali's house in Spain. I wanted to go to see the Scream in Oslo. I wanted to go to Ukraine to visit my girlfriend's family. So it was all these things. I had like 10 things I want to do in Europe. So I used a plane. I just flew Ryan Airlines. They got these flights are $20 or $30 or whatever. They're super cheap once you're there. You got to get to Europe. But if you were doing smaller areas, like, for example, when I took my mom to Germany, I rented a car, and I basically made a round circle where you go from, we started off in Frankfurt and ended up back in Frankfurt. I took her to Ireland too, same thing, Dublin, got a car, did a big circle, found the most interesting places along the circle, and did that. Hard to do in Africa. This trip, Cameroon, it costs about $250 a day to rent a car. So you usually have to get a driver, which is usually separate from the car. So you got to rent the car and the driver, and then sometimes a guide. And they make it very complicated in Africa. There is trains in Cameroon, believe it or not, and also Gabon has a little bit of a train system. So I try to do everything that I can. I did a trip to India recently, and I did every mode of transport possible, planes, trains, cars, rickshaws, you name it. So I try to try everything. I try to experience it. So if somebody asks me a question like, how did you get around in India? Well, that's not a simple answer. What place? I was on a houseboat. I was on this. I was on that. It depends on the region, right? So it just all depends on the price of car rental, the efficiency of the system, if there is a system. And for me, everything always comes down to price. Like I'm always trying to hack it because I don't believe that most people have the money to just, I think I'm just going to travel all the time. I travel as a lifestyle, and so I have to find good deals. If I travel every month, I can't be staying at 5-star resorts and riding around in limousines. every day. One day maybe, but not every day.
You talked a little bit about a mindset of fear that Americans generally tend to have, particularly in traveling to places that seem, I don't know, a bit more off the beaten path. And
Not even
so,
that. So the first question, hey, I'm going to Arlington. Is it safe there? Oh, wait, it's Texas. Okay, it's safe. But no, it's a question about anything. I just had a guest here, my Airbnb, and she was going to Japan. What's scary about Japan? Well, Godzilla, fair
right.
enough. But other things, very safe. But that was the first. Do you think it's going to be okay there? And she talked about she was telling me about going to Hollywood, California. She wouldn't get out of her car because she's all homeless people. People are afraid of everything that has to do with travel. I don't know why it's in our minds. Don't travel, you'll get killed. It's we're not afraid of a lot of other things that we should be afraid of, but we're afraid of that.
Beyond the fear, with all of the traveling that you've done, what do you think that are some things about our mindset, our culture in the West that may miss the mark on just understanding things that we should understand, just generally?
America is the best country in the world.
Right.
Well, America's good. We got a good passport. Please don't kick me out. I like it here. But it's not rated the most happiest people in the world are not in America. So I think that's a big myth, and I don't mean healthcare or anything else that people often talk about, but it's a great country. We have some great resources. It's a beautiful things, the national parks and stuff, but that's a big thing. It's other places are wonderful places to live. I love Italy. I could go live in Italy right now. I just love it. And so I think that's one of the big myths we're talking about myths about travel. Or is that really the question, or is it what Americans thinking about travel? I'm not sure exactly what the
I
question
like
is.
where you went. Let me rephrase the question because it was meant more just kind of globally. When you look at the mindset of people that are outside the United States, where you go, the things that you experience, what do you think Americans generally tend to miss about the state of being human?
Good.
Being called,
Thanks
yeah.
for getting me back on track.
Uh-huh.
My last name is Wiatrak, and I think it's because a lot of times I,
You just kind of
that's my train track. Hey, train's over here. So another, I'm going to stick with the whole myth idea because I think it's kind of answers the question, is the Middle East. The
okay.
Middle East is one of my favorite places to travel. I feel safest in the Middle East. Now, mind you, there's only one country I haven't been to in the Middle East, but I would leave my wallet on a table in the Middle East before I would go to the Galleria over here and leave my wallet on a table because it will still be there. And I found nothing but hospitality um, in Middle Eastern countries. And I've been to, like I said, all of them. I even Somalia, which isn't this Africa, not Middle East, but now, mind you, I didn't go to Mogadishu. I stayed in the safe part in Somaliland, but the people were so hospitable to me. Who wants to go to Somalia? No one. Anybody raising their hand? Nobody wants to go there because they have this fear of Arabic people, or maybe not even Arabic, but Muslims. So there's a whole big myth about that, and I find that those people are extremely hospitable. Lumping people into the same category, that's another one. As Americans, we just see something and we think, oh, that person is that. Asians a good example. People don't know the difference between a Pakistan person, a Bangladesh person, a Sri Lankan person, or an Indian person. They have different religions. They have different uh, what's the word? Languages. Can't think of it. Different languages, different religions, different culture and dress and things like that. They're all different. Like you go to India, there's 100 different types of people in India. They're not the same. It's not going to be the same people. And I think we tend to lump people into this category because it's simple. Just to illustrate one thing that I think is kind of interesting is, do you know what a Sikh is?
Yes.
Okay, it's a Punjab Indian person with wear the headdress usually. They wear that because they have long hair. It's part of their religion. They're Sikh, and they have long hair, so they wrap it up in the thing. Well, people see those turbans, Texas, and they think, oh, these guys are terrorists. And these guys, first of all, they're not even Muslim; they're Sikhs, right? But we had a parade here in Houston. It was a Thanksgiving parade, and they were catching all kinds of flack.
Really?
Because it was after 9/11, and these guys didn't have anything to do with 9/11. They're just wearing a headdress, right? And people just get confused. I was going to go to Nigeria a couple of years ago. I did go, but I was going to go at the time. And somebody told, oh, my cousin lived there. Oh, he loved it. It was great. And then we found out they're talking about Nicaragua.
Oh, okay.
Australia, Austria. People get confused, and they just don't know we don't know geography. Nobody knows geography. I know geography because I've been to those places and I had to figure out how to get back. But Americans don't know their geography, and they just lump everything as over there. Where do you live?
In Tahoe, California.
Okay. There's a map of I don't know if this is from Texas or not, but it's sort of a map of the world from a Texas perspective. And it's very funny. I wish I could, show you a little thing of it, but it's kind of like, people over there. And it's just, to me, it's, so I think that's the biggest thing. That's probably the number one thing, or two things is fear, and then misunderstanding about other cultures, and no desire to really learn about them.
Of the places that you've been, of the cultural practices that you've seen, and because there's many cultural practices around that are both good or terrible or whatever. What are the things that are cultural practices throughout the world that you've seen that really bring the greatest amount of happiness, community, and togetherness with people?
One thing is I thought was interesting. I was in Ghana, and I think Ghana is going to be a little similar to Cameroon. There's kind of this, what I call the armpit of Africa. It's Ghana, Togo, Benin, Nigeria, Cameroon. But in Ghana, it's not the first place people would pick on their list of places to go in Africa. But I found the people to be very welcoming and very nice. And Ghana is nothing like the next country over. I mean, there's some similarities, but they're all very different. They've got their own identity. But Ghanans, when you sit down to eat, you eat with your hands. They have this dough they call fufu, and it's like a cassava, just a thing of it, and you grab it and you scoop up a little bit of food. Everybody, they put a plate in the middle. Everybody eats with their hands. Well, you wash your hands beforehand. They have a little water thing. But when you're finished with your food, you don't throw your plate away. There's a guy that's sitting across from you. Give it to him. Hey, you want this? They'll take it. They don't waste any food. We don't do that. I always think it's so weird, our thinking about food. Like let's say you go to a restaurant. I'm going to get off on a little tangent. Pardon me for a second. I just think this is a really interesting observation that I just love. So you go to a restaurant and a table's just left of 20 people that you don't know who they are, right? And they left some guacamole. You see there's a couple of chips in there. Would you go over there and would you eat some guacamole off their table? Of course not. Now, if you got invited to a dinner and there's 19 people that you never met, and you were there and you sat down and they were all eating guacamole, yeah, sure, we don't care. Or you go to HEB and they got guacamole, everybody, including kids, that put their fingers in. Oh, no. I mean, you're going to eat it, right? You're just like, oh, it's a free sample. It's okay. So I just think that's kind of a funny thing.
Yeah.
That's my tangent. But in Ghana, they don't have that. They just, let's share food. Why waste anything? I love that. I also like, I went to the happiest place on earth. And whether it's the happiest place on earth, I don't really know if I agree with, but it's called Bhutan. And it's a country that's been shut off forever. They just got TV in 1999. The only traffic light that got put up got taken down because people didn't like them having that crazy robot thing. So now they have a guy in the middle of the street doing this. But it's got some unusual customs, but the people haven't really seen anything else. And well, I guess that's why they're the happiest people on earth. They don't have some of the stress that we have. And it's just interesting to go someplace that's been kind of locked away in time.
Is it hard to get in there? Did you need to apply for put an application in?
They have a cap on the number of people that can go, and one of the ways they sort of enforce it is the price. You have to pay a tour company a fee to get in, and it's expensive. and then you have to get there, and that's expensive. Now I came up with some hacks, which you can find out in my book, The Traveling Wizard. Okay, that book's not out yet. But I found some hacks to get the price down. But still, yeah, it's a little pricey, and then you have to get a visa approved and all that. It's not the hardest place I've ever gotten into, but it does definitely not easy, and that kind of cuts out the casual travelers. Anybody can go to India, but you got to plan out Bhutan.
Well, and it sounds like it weeds out people who may go there and act in inappropriate ways.
I think there's really not too many inappropriate things you can do there. There's not a whole lot going on there. Not really bars or clubs or anything where you can get too crazy or wild. I think it's more that most people haven't heard of it, and that it's just off the grid, and more expensive. You can't just like, hey, I think I'm just going to go over to Bhutan for the day like you do Mexico. You got to plan it out. And not everybody's willing to do that. That's why a lot of countries aren't visited. It's just because they're not easy to get to, or they're not, you got to do some planning. You can't just show up.
When you talk about the happiest place on earth, what do they do to try to increase the happiness? What are the things that they have as a national policy?
Well, one of the things and like I said, I don't know how much of this is for the tourists and how much of it is legit. I'm as a person who's done magic shows for years, I can't help but always want to look and see where the wizard is, and how do you really feel, how happy are you? Let me see that smile. But anyway, I was very curious about that. But some of the things that they do, they wear a national dress. Now, I don't know. Good luck trying to make this happen in the United States. But when they're out in their city, they have to wear like this costume, like somebody at a Disney ride, and they have to wear this outfit that's their traditional outfit. So there's a feeling possibly of unity, because everybody's kind of wearing a uniform for the country. Maybe I think that might do something. And then there's also some sort of social, things are provided. The prices are low. There's medical stuff, So some things that people worry about here, like starving or not being able to get well if you're sick, some of those things have been eliminated. Do you want Big Brother in your business like that? Well, we kind of like taking the chance here in America. Oh, we don't care about medical care. We don't care about if we're eating, starving. It's the American way. We'll get up to the top if we deserve it. They're not like that there. It's different. So they seem happy enough, but a bunch of them wanted to leave and visit America. So
And
who knows?
Have you been to North Korea?
That's going to be the last one on the list. It's the only country that's illegal for us to go to as Americans. And I could go on a whole story about why it's illegal. I was just on a tour in Turkmenistan, and I was with the tour group because you can't just get into Turkmenistan. You have to go with the tour group. And I was with the guy who was with the guy who messed up North Korea for Americans. And
the Otto Warmbier incident. Yeah.
The guy was on the tour with them, and he did a bunch of bad things that nobody ever heard about in America, and ruined it for us to go. That's why we can't go. A decision was made because of the way that was handled on the North Korean side. But the guy was just a horrible, horrible traveler, and all the things he did. I mean, he's lucky he lived as long as he did. I can't believe he even got away with it, But anyway, that's a whole interview story that somebody should do, because it's been a story that a lot of people haven't heard. Everybody just knows North Korea is hard to get to. What they don't know is it's impossible to get to with an American passport unless you break the law or you're a journalist. Now, I happen to be a journalist. Am I the right journalist to get in? I don't know. But I'm going to wait till my last country to find out, more than likely. Or maybe something might change.
Well, these things do change, and it is a country that is ruled by a single person, and those countries can change quite quickly because
the country that I was just in, Turkmenistan, is exactly like North Korea, almost, according to the people who've been in North Korea 100 times. It's the same thing. It's a cult presidency.
Yeah.
A guy. It's a family thing that's been, in this guy. He makes crazy rules, and people have to follow him. No cars allowed in the country that aren't white because he wants it to match the city. You paint your car. You have a red car, paint it.
Interesting.
Because I guess he likes white carnations.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So he quit smoking. So he made everybody in the country quit smoking, and decided that that wasn't going to really be possible. So they'll be smoking in public. He changed the names of the dates on the calendar, the months of the calendar, to his family names in the book he wrote. It's just crazy stuff like that.
Wow.
It's totally North Korea. But I went there and I experienced it. I was there for their Independence Day. That wasn't very independent. We got kicked out of the Independence Party. So we didn't. We were just standing there. You're not allowed to stand. You've got to sing and turn the right direction and all that. And
Oh, you were
we didn't.
observing, and they didn't like that. They wanted you involved in
We
the
were
festival.
we were dancing to the music, and they said, "No, you are on the camera, and everybody is. This is choreographed. This party is this way. It's not that way. So get the hell out."
Oh, geez. That does sound rather uncomfortable. And so you've traveled South America. What's your favorite place in South America?
Well, the only country I haven't been to in South America is Venezuela, and that's just because that's a hard one. But I got a hack for that, and I'm working on it now. And I'll probably do Venezuela this year. I'd say my favorite. I really like Colombia a lot. And the reason I like Colombia is in the north. It has this really sort of nice Caribbean vibe to it. Bogota's got some interesting things going on. There's ancient ruins. There's some cool stuff to see. The food's interesting. I mean, Colombia has like 13 or 14 different types of fruits that we don't exist anywhere else in the world. The jungle. I went down to the jungle. I did the Amazon, and it was Amazon heard me. It's not about you, Amazon. It's the other Amazon, the river. But anyway, the river was very interesting. We went piranha fishing and slept in the trees and zip lining, did ayahuasca. It was just crazy adventure. I think that's my favorite. I like Brazil too. Rio was amazing. I really enjoyed going down to the southern part of South America. It's cold, but there's penguins there. And who doesn't love penguins? Am I right?
Right?
That was good.
Would you
Peru.
be
Peru is probably the biggest, the big hitter. Peru has everything. Between Peru and Bolivia, that's a good piece of South America.
What was ayahuasca like for you?
It's not a recreational drug. I'll put it that way. We went out in the jungle with a shaman and did the whole ceremony the way that it's intended to do. And I was completely coherent the entire time. I had a feeling you were going to ask me that question when I said the A word. But anyway, the jungle, I was completely not drunk or anything, completely coherent, but I saw a lot of things and I couldn't stand up. And everything transformed. That jungle turned into Avatar jungle. It was really bizarre. There's a lot of throwing up and going to the bathroom, which I didn't like, but it's to purge your body and to help you heal. And I don't know if I would do it again, but I would do it once. And because I don't feel like you could ever explain it to anybody until they've done it. I could talk about it and write my best story, and it's still not, explaining it.
Hard to put that experience into words sometimes.
It really is when the experience is in your head, but then you wonder, is it in your head? It's one of those things where you do it and you're like, this is probably how things are all the time here, and I just can't see it. Right? This has opened up, taken off a filter off my eyes, and now I'm seeing things the way they really are. That question goes through your mind.
Was it something that brought you some greater sense of understanding, or was it just simply an experience that you had?
I learned one thing that day: don't do ayahuasca again. No, that's not what I learned. I'm just kidding. No, I don't know. I think it was weird. I have one thing that maybe I could attribute to ayahuasca. You're looking for things afterwards. I don't feel like I have any like deep-seated emotional issues or anything that I needed to resolve mentally that hadn't been handled before. But I had this skin rash, and I still have a little bit of it, but it sort of disappeared after I did ayahuasca. It's a lot less. It was just kind of this sort of stuff that would just randomly get on my skin, and it just kind of, I can't say it completely vanished, but it's mostly gone.
Mhm.
So that was kind of weird.
Yeah, it can affect you in a lot of different ways. And I know a lot of people who have had experiences of just being totally out of their body, seeing all their traumas floating past them, all these different sorts of things. But it does something different to each person.
It does. Yeah, it's very customized.
Yeah, yeah. And have you done extensive traveling inside the United States?
Yes, actually, I have a very interesting story. I have before I started doing Airbnb like I do, I basically had two businesses. One was writing travel articles, which nobody's going to get rich doing that, and then the other one it was entertainment. And those are the two things that got completely shut down during COVID. The other thing that got completely shut down during COVID was every country in the world except Mexico. So Mexico and North America became, well, not even Canada. Canada was shut down. So America and Mexico became my new friends. And I had traveled a lot in America, but just kind of going to Chicago, San Diego, here or there, I would do like little trips for 3 days in Philadelphia or something. But this, I got in my car, and I should point out that because my business is entertainment related and completely shut down, and I didn't have 2 years of money saved up to live on. My travel was pretty much done as far as and food and electricity and all these other things that we love had suddenly vanished. So I figured out a way of kind of staying afloat. But one of the ways that I traveled was I got in my car. I had a Kia, and I traveled around the United States in my car. And I had done almost all the national parks. I only have four left, and I'm going to knock out three of them. Well, I'm sorry, that's not including Alaska. I'm going to knock out my final four this year. But I started just going and visiting national parks, and I had this park pass, and I had a blow up mattress, and I'd go shop at the dollar store, and I'd do Uber. This is what I should tell you: Uber and Lyft, and Roadie, and I did a bunch of other apps. And I would do that in the morning. I'd be in the city, in some town, Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I'd get up and wake up and put all my stuff away and hide it and clean, make sure my car was clean and the windows were done, turn on my lift and start driving until I had enough money for gas and maybe a place to stay and food and whatever. And then I would do that, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. I did that, and I finished my 50th state. And then after I did that, then I went down to Mexico and did Copper Canyon, and I've got every state except in Mexico except for one. So I'm almost done with Mexico. So I'm kind of an overachiever when it comes to traveling. I got these lists, and I'm like, I'm going to get it done. I don't care.
So were you doing
COVID,
Uber the whole
schmovid.
time? Like driving the whole time, giving people
I did
rides?
months. I did months of driving. Yeah, until it got too cold, and then I came back. But then I started doing booking out my house more. I was, as you can tell, it's a kind of a unique house behind me. But I had a lot of hip hop artists that wanted to rent it to do videos, and so we probably did like 200 of them. And I was able to kind of control. I had a guy that was staying here, and I was able to sort of run it remotely, and that started bringing in money. They were paying me $100 an hour to come use my house, and I was getting $75 an hour outside for the pool, and I was doing Airbnbs, and people started coming back, and because they couldn't stay at regular hotels, and so I started making money again, enough to survive, and then I didn't have to do the lift anymore, because that's a long. I like doing it. It was fun to talk to people, and I met a lot of interesting people, but it takes a while to make the kind of money that you make as an entertainer or doing Airbnb.
And how did you get into the whole entertainer being in movies and that sort of thing? When did that start happening for you?
Well, the entertainer thing is kind of related to the movies thing. And the movies thing are kind of accidental. Somebody comes to my house, oh, I want to film a movie here. Okay, can I be in it? Yeah, yeah, we got the perfect part for you. So you're in it. And then somebody else says, hey, I saw that movie. Can we film a movie here too? We got a part for you. Okay, I'll be in it. And then somebody goes, hey, we saw you in this other movie, but we're going to shoot it somewhere else. You want to be in it? Doesn't pay anything. Okay, I'll take it. So that's my movie career. It's not. I'm not making the same figures that Tom Cruise is. However, entertainment, I got started with that. I was going to college. It took me forever to get through college because I kept taking off and doing these trips, for 6 months or 3 months or 1 month. So I would take off, I'd come back, do a semester, and then take off again, and then do another semester and take off again. So it took me a long time. And while I was doing that, I was going to school. While I was going to school, I was working as a waiter or a bartender at restaurants. I'm doing the restaurant business, right? And I'm just about to get married, and begin my African trip. And this friend of my boss's, my fiance's boss was a clown, and she had gotten pregnant and wasn't expecting it, and had all these shows booked. And she's like, "Billy, you got an outgoing personality. I think you'd be really good at being a clown." And of course, my first question is, "Well, what does it pay?" $50 for an hour. $50 for an hour. I'll take it. What do I have to do? So I thought it'd be an easy thing, hey, just put some funny clothes on and be a clown. And it turned out to be very challenging. As a matter of fact, I could do a whole interview about my first party and how horrible I was, and how I wanted to go and hide in an island someplace where nobody could see me. It was absolutely terrible. But I decided that I wanted to pursue it. So I started doing more of it, and I started honing my skills. And back then, there's so many resources now. Back then, there was no internet. And so it was like you'd find a clown book, or I'd go hang out at the magic store for hours and talk to the magician guy there and buy stuff I couldn't afford. And I still have closets full of it. And that's what I did. So I just started getting better at it. And I realized, well, I'm got all this clown stuff. I got a clown show now. It's a good clown show. I could do a magic show as a magician. So I started doing that. And then somebody started calling me for a Ninja Turtle. What's a Ninja Turtle? So I went and saw the movie. I had my mom's sewing machine. I was like, you know what? I think I can make, I never sewn before, but I think I could make a Ninja Turtle costume. And I made one, and it was like crazy successful. So then I started a costume character business. And it was called Clowns, Characters, and Critters. And I was doing there. I was playing Batman, and I was doing Ninja Turtle, and I was doing Bart Simpson, and I was a magic guy, and I was clowning. And then, I needed another person to help, and then another person, another person. Pretty soon this thing grew into something crazy. And then Disney sued me.
Oh,
And so we don't do that anymore. But that's how I became a performer. The rise and fall of Clowns, Characters, and Critters, and Incredible
well,
Events.
the clown part of this, I find this to be really interesting because I'm meeting more people who have been into the clown world, and they do it a lot with children that are sick. There's a lot of going to hospitals and that sort of thing, and
Yeah,
clowns.
those are usually volunteer clowns that do that.
Uh-huh.
And then there's rodeo clowns,
Uh-huh.
and then there's birthday party clowns. And then there's right now the trend is less people have the attention span that they used to have to watch a show. So a lot of times people just want a clown to come and do balloons and face painting, dress up as a clown. And then there was that whole moment. I just did a podcast not too long ago about clowns and about fear of clowns. There was a whole crazy thing with the fear of clowns, and clowns just went completely out of style. I was there in the golden age, and then they just went, they took a nosedive. Look at it. Bozo's gone. Ringling Brothers is gone. Ronald McDonald is gone. It still making movies.
Well, it is still making movies. And then I think another big part of this is the Insane Clown Posse. And what the Insane Clown Posse did with the whole like concept of what a clown is supposed to be. And this whole exceedingly perverted notion of clowns being obnoxious, rude, and um, uh, they've made an entire kind of culture around it that is really dark. When a clown is supposed to be something that is empathetic and fun and bring joy and bring laughter and magic and all of these sorts of things. And I think it's really sad what has happened to the concept of a clown, where everybody goes, "Oh,
You
clowns
don't
are
know what
sick."
you just said.
Okay.
You don't know what you just said. Right now, that model that you just described is the same as travel. It's fun, it's magical, it's wonderful. You learn things, and it got turned into something dark. Oh, cartels are going to kill you in Mexico.
Uh-huh.
Oh, don't go there because Arab people hate us. And they're going to kill us. None of that's true. I mean, there are cartels in Mexico, but I've driven all over Mexico. And anyway, I'm not going the whole travel fear thing, but you get the idea. things that we love and cherish get turned. Maybe it's to sell records and Insane Clown Posse. Maybe it's to make a movie like It. But you know, the rise and fall. I know Ronald McDonald very well, and I watched that McDonald's make him disappear. It was very sad. Why? Because people were afraid of clowns, and it's creepy. It's creepy having a guy with makeup on. Is it? You know, I guess now, you know, in culture, elephants, animals, monkeys, things that people love to interact with, all disappearing. Why? Fear. You know, we're gonna kill all the elephants, and elephants are gonna kill us. Didn't you see that stampede of the elephant and blah blah blah? So yeah, it's all, our world is, anything that we enjoy is slowly disappearing. It's turned into something that's scary, or there's a fear behind it, or we're upsetting someone or whatever.
Why do you think that's happening right now, particularly in the West, where fear is becoming, I guess, the mindset or the tool that is used in crafting culture and ideas and entertainment? What is happening there, you think?
I don't know. I think some of it's contrived, but that's just my theory. I will tell you this: as a person who travels often, I find that, you know, the things that people get upset about here in America are, some of them are extremely silly. I was traveling. I had a trip where I was leaving America right after Will Smith slapped Chris Rock.
Yeah.
And how long was that on TV? You know, who cares? All right, Chris Rock got slapped. He's a comedian. I got slapped. My mom slapped me. It's not on TV for a month. But it's just people are looking for things to interact with. You know, where they don't go anywhere. You know, if you don't travel, if you're not seeing what the real world is like, every day you're getting up in the morning at a certain time, you're going to work, you're doing the same thing. You get home, you eat dinner, you go to bed, you get up in the morning. The only thing you have to look at is what's online, and you know, you want to have this range of emotions, and you can't have it. I mean, you might get mad at your boss, but you got to still work there. So, oh, I can't believe Will Smith did that. Let me make a video about my reaction to Will Smith doing this. And then somebody wants to make a reaction video of me making a reaction to, you know, and it's just like, the people that don't have anything to do, let's go somewhere, find something to learn, you know. I think we're not learning. I think what we're doing is we're just looking for content. Give us something that'll make us laugh. What, have you seen Idiocracy?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Every time I watch it, it starts to look more and more like a documentary.
Each year it seems like we kind of get close to several of those things.
That's
And
what I'm saying.
yeah, there is a sense every single day that things are just generally getting worse. I know that's generally what I'm seeing on, you know, the on Twitter or on Facebook or whatever. But I know that is not the same experience that people in other countries are generally having. There's
Yeah,
more.
it's less. It's less, but I can see it in Australia. I was there a couple years ago, and I saw that Australia has changed a lot, a lot. Like, trying not to make people upset, you know, and you know, it was considered to be very racist in Australia by some people back in the day, and now everybody's just, you know, tiptoeing around the whole Aboriginal thing.
Oh,
And everybody's like worried about this and that and these people's rights, and I don't even know that I even hear anybody that's has all these rights ever speaking. It's just they seem to just be there like, oh, we all these years we've been ignoring this and this and this, and we forgot to, you know, we can't let these animals sit in this cage. They need to be here. And I'm not saying anyone's right or wrong. I'm just saying that we've become very sensitive to like a lot of details that were certainly ignored in my childhood.
yeah,
Some
yeah.
for better, some for worse. Some, you know, some things there's little humor to be found in some things, because you have to be careful about what you say or do. And
It seems like everything becomes a bit more of a landmine every day. You'd mentioned cartels. Have you ever had any interaction with cartels when you've been traveling through? I know that they sometimes set up roadblocks to check on like who's coming through a place or what have you. Has there ever been an experience that you've had with a Mexican cartel that
Hold,
you
hold on one
know?
second. I can answer that in a second. Hang on a second. No, I'm just kidding. You know how much cocaine Charlie Sheen did? Enough to
I
kill 2.5 men.
I gotcha.
All right. No, I haven't interacted with the cartel. I think that what a lot of people don't realize that the two problems with Mexico is drugs and guns or cartels, and violence, right? And what they don't realize is it's Americans buying the drugs and us selling the guns to the cartels because they wouldn't have guns if it wasn't for America, right?
Right.
So the other thing too is people think the cartels want to kill us, but the cartels do not want to kill us. They want us to buy their drugs and they want us to give them guns. It's a good business for them. Keep it going. Keep it going. They don't want to kill innocent Americans. The Americans that usually get killed, it's usually mistaken identity or it's somebody crossed the wrong person. If you've seen Breaking Bad, you know how that goes. So I haven't had that experience, but I did find myself going down to Chihuahua. There's a famous train ride down there called El Chepe. It's in Copper Canyon, Barranca de Cobre. And I went down there because it was on my bucket list of things to do. And I did that. And I got on this bus. I was trying to do a Uber and that didn't work out. Then I got on this bus and that didn't work out. And I ended up in the wrong place, way past where I was supposed to be, in the middle of drug cartel territory. And I got out and it was the last stop for the bus. And they're like, get out. And we're like, okay, what do we do? Anyway, it's a long story, but we ended up finding some people to help us and we got back to the place we were supposed to be. But I didn't have any, it was just a nice little quiet village. It was right in the middle of the drug central, right? And Sinaloa. I mean, Sinaloa is probably the most famous. Sinaloa, Michoacan. I never had any problems. That's where the butterflies are in Michoacan. The monarchs that you see, all the giant migration of them. It's just amazingly beautiful, and it's right in the heart of all that. So I think if you're not stupid, once again, you're not looking for trouble. You don't drive around at night. You don't do dumb things. I don't think you're going to have any problem.
Have you been to Russia?
Russia, yes.
Yeah. What was Russia like?
Well, I haven't explored it as much as I like. I've been to St. Petersburg and I've been to Moscow. And I've been to all the countries that used to be part of Russia or the USSR. The stands, not Albania, but like Macedonia. Well, I'm sorry, that was Yugoslavia. Azerbaijan, places like that that I visited, Georgia, that were part of Russia. But I would like to do the Trans-Siberian Railway, and I think that would be like really fun. I don't know if it'd be fun, but it's kind of one of those things on my bucket list.
Yeah, I've
I
seen a
had
couple of.
temporarily crossed it off my list because I had a Ukrainian girlfriend, and so I took that off my list out of respect for the Ukraine thing. But I'm going to wait a while before I go. But anyway,
No,
yeah,
I've seen some YouTube videos of people who have done that, and it honestly looks fascinating. Not easy, but very fascinating to see
yeah,
the
probably a little
landscape.
boring, but it's like one of those things that you did it. It's like climbing Mount Everest or something, except easier.
Yeah.
It's on the list. Suck it up and do it. 7 days without a shower.
Sounds great. And I'm sure Everest is not on your list.
I'm not a mountain climber.
Yeah.
I'll do. I did the Himalayan Trail recently, or was it the Appalachian Trail? I get them confused. Anyway, I did the Appalachian Trail for about 5 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Inca Trail for about 5 minutes. Okay, I seen it.
What wasn't
I
wasn't
can't. I get bored. I got OCD. I can't. I'm not OCD. CDO. Things in alphabetical order like they belong. No. AD. Is that a squirrel?
yeah.
Another squirrel. Yeah. So I get bored with climbing mountains, unless it's like a small mountain.
No, the whole thing with Everest has turned into such an industry. It seems like the original concept of it is as long gone, and it's
That's true with
tragic.
anything that you've heard. Anything that you've heard of is pretty much that's happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have
And
you been to Santorini?
have I been? No.
Yes. Well, Santorini is not what it used to be. It's full of influencers, and it's just crazy. You got to get there early or late or something, or you're just a mob of people with the big red dresses on. And I think Everest is getting the same point. Everybody wants to add their list. Same thing with what I'm doing right now, traveling every country in the world. It's become easier, with the e-visas, like these visas that I'm getting now, I'm able to possibly get 3 visas in a month. Before that would have taken like 2 or 3 months, because you got to send it to Washington, D.C. You got to wait for it to come back. You got to send it off to Washington, D.C., wait for it to come back. It all takes so much time. But now, there's more planes, there's more people traveling. There's easier to get visas for some places. And so more people are doing every country in the world.
It's amazing. I mean, all of it really is. And as you've spent your entire lifetime traveling to different places, like what has this done inside you in terms of your, and I use the term spirituality, in terms of your spirit and who you are and who you see yourself to be in this lifetime and beyond it and everything like that. Where are you with that sort of thing, the meaning of a life and the meaning of your life?
Well, that's a difficult question, but I will say that all the things that I grew up believing have all been challenged, because there's a lot of different alternative realities for people. What we do, let's say, for example, this is talked about religion. America's predominantly Christian and Jewish, right? And if you
Mhm.
go to another country where everybody's Muslim, I mean, they got a completely different point of view. Are we right? Are they right? Did we meet Jesus? Did they meet Muhammad? No. We just learned what we taught. We felt good about it, and that's what we believe. Why do we believe it? We don't know, because that's what our mom believed. And so I think I'm not saying one's right or one's wrong, but it makes you start questioning like everything that you learned. And then when you start reading history about things that I grew up thinking Christopher Columbus was this wonderful guy that sailed to America, and he never came to America, and he used to chop off people's hands if they didn't bring enough gold, and he got thrown in jail with his brother when they went back to Spain. So I think all these things that you learn growing up, when you go and you visit these places, and you see how other people worship, and how they survive, it changes your mind. One time I had this vivid memory of driving through this place in Cambodia. It was this little village that was on the water. And these people, there must have been 50 or 60 people outside, all gathered around something. And when I pulled up, it was one of those little, those old school TVs that you could put in your van, that were like big cubes, connected to a car battery. And they had like one channel in the whole country, right? And these people were just watching this and being entertained. And their houses didn't have any walls. They were just like a roof to keep the rain from getting on you, and a straw mat, and maybe one side or two sides. But that's how they live. I once to illustrate the point even more, I visited the Samburu tribe in Kenya, and these people live in a, a house they've constructed out of sticks and cow dung. That's what it's made out of. If your house smells like, that's because it is.
Mhm.
And they survive. What they do is they drink the milk from the cow, and they let a little blood out of the cow, and they drink the blood. So it's blood and milk is really what they survive off. I mean, can you imagine living in a house that's made out of cow poop and sticks and surviving on blood and milk? I mean, people do it, and they have really nice smiles. I mean, apparently it's good for dentistry. Some of the best smiles I've ever seen. Like, I guess I need to drink more milk and blood. But I'm getting off on another tangent, of course. But the point is, we feel like we have to have all this stuff. All these. We need to have a big house, and we need to have this, and we have to have that, and you don't need all that. These people were happy. They're very happy. Were they as happy as me riding a jet ski? I don't know, but they were pretty happy.
Well, and you had
All
said that
smiles anyway.
You have this goal before you're 65. What is the future for you? Like,
The moon, of course, and Uranus. I mean, Uranus.
easy. And are you looking, because you're going to be done with your list by the time you're 65.
Well,
What are other
there's a lot of
things?
countries in the world that aren't UN countries. So I've been this year. I went to like four of them. Greenland, that's a country. It's part of the Kingdom of Denmark, but Greenland's a country. And it's not counted as United Nations because it doesn't have a seat on the United Nations, but it's still a country. It's got its own money, its own flag, its own everything. But they're tied in. Wales. The reason I have 218 countries and not 195, which is how many people, if you Google how many countries are there in the world, you'll see 193 or 195. That's the United Nations countries, including or not including Palestine and the Vatican, the Holy See. So my list is higher. And some people count as many as 215 or 250 countries in the world. If you start talking about Bermuda and Gibraltar and some of these little Wallis and Futuna, French Guinea. I just was there in South America. You asked me what countries like South America. French Guinea, not a country. It's kind of a country, but it's kind of part of France. Really interesting. But who goes there? Nobody. So I got all those left to do too. So once I finish my UN countries, then I'll probably start doing like every country that isn't on the list. I don't know.
And tell me about the book that you're writing.
Well, I have actually two books out now on Amazon. My one that most people are buying is called Stories from the Road. Bill Wiatrak, Wiatrak. You can get it on Amazon, $15. And it's a tale. Right now, you can't really compete with AI as far as 15 things to do in Philadelphia. But what you can do is you can tell your story about what happened to you when things went weird, in a good way or a bad way. So I have 31 stories illustrated by a cartoonist from Indonesia, and talking about things that happened to me. A time I was chased by a gorilla and survived. Another time I was somebody tried to rob me in Thailand, and I stole their motorcycle. Stories like that. And they're interesting. Like I said, there's 31 of them. People like it. I mean, not just Americans, but I had a lot of foreign friends that have read it, and they like my writing style, so they recommend it by at least 4 or 5 Russians. I've also got another book. It's a kid's book. It's called The Story of Kwanzaa Baba, and it's a character that's an African character based on my travels in Africa. I have a co-author that wrote it with me, and really nicely illustrated. But it's a very time-specific book for during Kwanzaa. You're not going to sell a lot of those throughout the year, but it's a cute little kid's book, kind of written in a night before Christmas style. It's a poem, but it's a really cool story about this character in Africa that gives kids toys and creates them and wooden toys, and he has a zebra, and it's completely different. It's not Santa Claus; it's his kind of a counterpart, in Africa. I'm working on another story, another book, and it's probably about a third of the way done. And it's basically, the idea is to take people's dream of traveling to a reality. And I find that I've been able to help a lot of people. Travel therapy, maybe. The people ask me questions about, I've always wanted to go someplace. How do I get there? And so I've helped them and say, okay, well, where do you want to go? And why do you want to go there? And it's basically, it's kind of a funnel. Let's start off with, you haven't been anywhere, right? So any place is good for you. Let's find out what you're interested in. Let's narrow down the categories, and let me show you how you can book it where you can afford it, and it's not going to make you go broke. I hear a ton of horror stories about people who buy plane tickets at airports that I could have gone to Africa 4 times on what they pay to go to Cleveland. It's it's ridiculous. People will throw money at travel. That's another thing. Oh, I want to have a good time. Let me just throw a bunch of money at it, and that doesn't give you a good time. One of the best trips I ever had was traveling around the United States in my car with no money. That was fun. I miss that.
I
I don't think I could
imagine,
do it again right now. I'm just too busy, but it was fun.
I imagine you just meet a lot of really interesting folks, and there's a lot more opportunities that there are when you're just kind of winging it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I got a little club that I'm putting together. It's not really a formal club, but I just meet people who are travel to interesting places and they're looking for a travel partner, or they want to find out information. And so there's these networks that are growing and getting bigger and bigger. There's a one on Facebook called Every Passport Stamp, and it's a bunch of weirdos like me who are just, I don't care about, I don't want the stamp. Keep the stamp. I just, I'll take a picture with the sign. I don't want to fill up another passport. But you know, that's a good one. And there's one right now that I'm on that helps you find guides in interesting, you know, unique places where you really need somebody you can trust to get you around. So we have a lot of resources that we didn't have before. And it's a good time to travel, but the fear is higher than everything, you know. And we don't have 9/11 to be afraid of anymore. That was a big fear for a long time. Everybody's kind of gotten over that. And then it was fear of leprechauns. Well, I think maybe I just had that fear of leprechauns. uh, but then there was COVID. You know, nobody traveled during COVID. I mean, people stayed home for 3 years during COVID. Not me. I got shamed. I got shamed for traveling, but you know, I was out in national parks. There's nobody around. I had the whole place to myself. Who am I hurting? Nobody. So you know, stay at home with your toilet paper obsession.
Well,
I'm
and
having fun.
during COVID, there was this upsurge in people buying RVs and going on RV adventures, and now the used market for RVs is huge, with people offloading their COVID rigs that they got to go and see the national parks and so forth during COVID, so that they could
A
travel
lot
with
of
their
people never
family.
even made it. They bought them and they sit there. They had big plans. They had this dream. The reality of living in an RV is different than the actual idea of living in an RV. Somebody sent me a picture the other day, and it was a picture of this couple. And the lady was laying there. She was kind of sort of half clothed, laying on this bed that taking up the whole back of the van, because that's, you know, queen size bed will take up a whole entire van. And then the guy's driving, and he looks like he hadn't had a bath in weeks. But they're looking at the beach, and it's this romantic picture. And you're like, my friend says, I think I'd like to do this. And I'm like, let's look a little bit closer at the picture, okay? These people haven't had a bath in weeks. They don't have a restroom. They don't have hot water. They don't have this and that. It sounds great on paper, but you know, when you're actually doing it, you're just as good in IKEA with a blow-up Walmart mattress, some nice blankets, and going and hitting the dollar store or Chinese buffet or whatever. And you have the same adventure, and you're not committed to buying some thing you can't afford that's a gas hog, you know.
What would you, what would your kind of advice be to somebody who is thinking about changing their life, going in the direction of doing some more adventurous things, would like to see the world?
My number one piece of advice is to create a bucket list. And everybody has a bucket list. Oh, I got a bucket list here. No, put it on your phone. Put the bucket list on your phone. Think of 100 things that you want to do. Be very specific about it. One of my things was I wanted to go meet the Dalai Lama. How do you do that? Well, you know, if it was in my head, I want to meet the Dalai Lama. You think I'm ever going to get to the Dalai Lama? No, but when I was in India last November, I wrote the Dalai Lama a whole bunch of letters. He never wrote me back. So I'm like, well, where is the Dalai Lama? Oh, he's in Dharamshala up in North. Well, when's he going to be doing a public thing? Well, he's doing a public thing about the time I'm in India. Buy a plane ticket, go meet the Dalai Lama. I would have never done that if it wasn't on my list. I was in Spain looking through my list. Eat at the oldest restaurant in the world. Wait a minute, isn't that in Spain? Yes, it is. Sabrina de Botero. That's in Madrid. I'm in Madrid. It opens at what time? I was there. I ate at the oldest restaurant in the world. Those lists make all the difference in the world. So they have to be specific. It's got to be like, see a tiger in the wild. That's on my list. Go see a polar bear in, well, I have Manitoba, but I've kind of amended that to, I might do this other set of islands that are off the coast of Norway. But stuff like that. You make that list, then, and you always look through it. Then you look for opportunities. You know, you're going someplace, and like, well, wait a minute, I could stop in Amsterdam on the way to France. Why not? People are in a hurry to get places. I don't know why. You go to the airport, okay, we're now boarding. Everybody wants to get on the plane. Oh, yeah, get on the plane, get on the plane, get on the plane, get on the plane. And then they stop. Oh, I gotta get off the plane, get on the plane. And then they stand there and wait for the luggage. You know, that would be another piece of advice. Don't ever check on luggage, ever. There's no reason. Never ever check on luggage. and don't be in a hurry at the airport because you're going to get there at the same time. And while everybody else is waiting for the luggage, you're going to walk right past them. So that's great advice. So be specific about your goals. I have sets of goals. I had a list of, I took an art class years ago, and just because I wanted to know what the hell I was looking at when I went to museums. And I became very interested in art. And I'm no expert by any means, but I can look across a museum and recognize a Gauguin or a Van Gogh or a Monet or, you know, somebody like that pretty easily. And so now I became very interested, and I went through the internet, and the internet, it sounds like an old guy said. I went on that internet and I made a list of all the most famous paintings in the world according to, like, I just went through like every list I could find, paintings you have to see in your lifetime before you die, and I put that list. It was like this long. Guess how many are left on there? Dogs playing poker. And that what was the other one called? It's you can't see it. It's privately owned. And the Magritte painting, I can't think of it. From the Thomas Crown Affair, with the apple and the nose and the what's the name of that? Anyway, those are the two I have left. I saw all of them, and you know how I did it? I was just like, I was in some place like Poland, and oh, wait a minute, there's a Leonardo da Vinci painting that's down in the south. Yeah, down in Warsaw. So I went down there and saw the painting. I did it, now I only have two more girl Da Vinci's to see, and I'm done with all the Da Vinci's. But just doing that, I mean, having that list of just art, having my list of archaeology. When I go to Turkey, there's about 4 things left in Turkey that I want to see. I've been to Iran. Technically, I went to the island of Kish, but Persepolis is very high on my list. So I'm going to have to go back to Iran, the main part of it, just to go do that thing on my list. If I didn't have that list, I wouldn't do it, honestly. So the list, I can't say enough things about the list. If I had one takeaway from this, if nobody watches this and they fast forward, make a list. I say unto thee, a list. That's from Bill, chapter 3, verse 2. Anyway.
Fantastic. Hey, Bill, thank you so much for being on the Mindful Mutiny podcast. I'm really happy to have talked to you here and gotten a sense for like where you've been and what you've done. And, parting ideas. What is it that you would impart to somebody who is looking to change their perspective on travel?
Pick a place you want to go and go. Tell everybody you're going to go. That's how I got to Australia.
Yeah.
Pick a place. I don't care how expensive it is, where it is. I thought Papua New Guinea was impossible for me. I thought Australia was impossible for me. I thought Madagascar. I've been to Madagascar twice. Nothing is impossible. Pick the place. Have a good reason for going there. Maybe you saw some pictures, you liked it, whatever. Just pick a place. Tell everybody you're going to go there. Set the date. As soon as you can afford it, buy the ticket. If you can't afford the ticket, buy it and do it on a firm, the thing where you pay it off over each month, whatever. Just buy the ticket or 2 tickets or whatever, and then go, and don't let anything stop you. I mean, don't let a dog stop you. Don't let relatives stop you. Don't let people saying that, oh my God, you're going to get killed there, stop you. Don't let the fact that you don't have any money stop you. I've been in countries before where something went bad and I didn't have any money. And you know what? I'm still alive and I got to see that country. Don't let sickness or illness stop you. I pulled my back one time. I could hardly get on the plane. And I thought, if I'm going to be laid up somewhere, I'd rather be laid up in Belarus than at my house. So I got to Belarus like this. And it ended up kind of working itself out. I found a nurse who fixed me up. So who knows,
Fantastic.
That's my parting thing. Go. Just go. No excuses.
Well, once again, thank you so much. And to those of you listening, please make sure to like and subscribe to the Mindful Mutiny podcast. Now, go be something great.